Good day. My name is Risa Simanjuntak, and I would like to present my paper for this 2023 ICOBAR entitled Model of Education Technology for Language Pedagogy in Higher Education. Education technology enables advances in every aspect of life and learning, and this paper explored a model for language pedagogy through EDM. EDM offered important contributions within the prediction capability in determining learning path, patterns of success and failure, as well as students' well-being. However, not enough EDM has been done regarding language learning, so this present study wanted to explore the potential model for EDM in language pedagogy. Substantial review of literature was complemented with samples of data from students' language learning performances to build the corpus for the study, and the results showed the need to integrate language input, process, and output for EDM in language pedagogy. In this model, predictions would offer a lot of comprehensive perspective on challenges, problems, and failures, as well as the potential learning and learning success for the learners. In conclusion, EDM inevitably needed in the rise of online learning and in the advancement of the conventional classroom meetings and classroom sessions. Practical implications for language platforms and digital language learning were also discussed in this paper. Educational data mining is an emerging field of study which takes data mining to further predictions for educational purposes. Language education, post-COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of times of crisis nowadays has taken a sharp turn. This has been influenced by learning routes via online platforms. Comparing the reference corpus with the learner corpus provide important information for both development and learning and further needs for learning. Previous studies in EDM provided insights to education. Studies were predicting schools dropout to prevent one from happening. And this is also the case for higher education level. Models for EDM was also important to facilitate learning, and the studies predicted student success in learning via EDM. Previous studies also looked at how virtual learning would help students learn better, wider, and in the time of their ease and comfortable access for learning. EDM also was useful to generate students' papers and created learning environment even for distance learners. More on the background to consider the development of the model include previous studies on language learning that have not clearly exposed models incorporating dynamic events in communication. Language was seen as an object learned rather than a skill mastered in the different genres in communication, and were not integrated as attributes in the EDM models. Therefore, there is a clear gap between EDM and language pedagogy. In language pedagogy, there were factors affecting language performance which considered to be unprescribed, according to instructors or curriculum designers' background or point of views. These features were deemed to be relevant to the dynamics of language use, and so a more suitable EDM for language pedagogy is needed. This present model was based on the previous model of corpus, industry, and genre integration as the model for language pedagogy in higher education. Then this was presented in my study earlier. And a new EDM-based model was proposed based on this previous model. And This present model, stood on the foundation of this previous model. In the previous model, language pedagogy in higher education is a dynamic environment. Information of the ecosystem is integrated in the learning. As can be seen in the figure, a model for language pedagogy, a dynamic model encompassed industry, which becomes the outcome of university level learning and training, as well as the genre and group. Proposed model for this present study could be seen in the figure on the right, with the working elements of ongoing cycle of identification, prediction, and re-identification. The goals of such model, of this present model, is the intention of the EDM to measure not only the learner's distance from the point of completion, but also prediction of the prospective achievements of the learners. The goals also encompass the perspective of not only see the end of the prediction to finish the language course as intended by the instructors and the design of the materials, but also to encompass what is beyond the set valued or set targets from the curriculum. Language is a life skill, and therefore this new model of idiom also covered that aspect, and the nature of the skill is dynamic. Therefore, a more organic idiom model is presented. As we can see in the cycle, the center of the idiom is learner language, a combination of the three elements of learner language, language real world, and academic discourse. These three-parted elements needs to be constantly monitored and also measured in order to make better predictions and re-identification. In the learner language, we could also see learner social experience encompassed, covering social activities, social media posts that they have using the language that was learned, and then the expressions of well-being and the multilingual background. We could also see that in the model, the varieties of genre and corpus-based communication was also considered, in addition to what has been taught or what needs to be learned in the classrooms. Language in the real world, based on the data mining, would also show the real language used in the industry, the real language experienced by students doing the internship, community projects, and also other communications within the industry or the professional setting. So in the end, the students would not only have scores and predictions of the scores, but they would also have the opportunity to see what other potential outputs or projects could be done using the language that they have been exposed to. And the end product of this prediction would be the shape of their portfolio. And with technology, students could make use of the technology to come up with the e-portfolio or electronic portfolio. The idiom model for language pedagogy present the prediction as important information. Meanwhile, the conventional EDM or data mining ends at prediction, but in this present model, such prediction is considered as a probable alternative. And in order to trigger new reorientations of learning. The model of EDM for language learning in higher education was built on the notion that learning is dynamic and ongoing. Learning in higher education is also aimed at training learners to tap into professional and industrial-ready graduates. More on the proposed models are on the attributes of EDM, Model for Language Pedagogy, which consisted of learner language, academic discourse, and the real-world language, and also the learner language, academic success, and social success. In conclusion, the paper presented an EDM model for a dynamic skill, which is skills to use language in many aspects of life. The model would not only be useful for predicting language learner success, but also could provide early warning system for the educators and learners, as well as prediction for alternate outcomes of the learning. The model could be used for both academic areas and industrial areas, and it would also benefit curriculum developers to provide more varied form of learning and style of delivering the materials in the classrooms and in the areas of learning. Further research would benefit from researching online assessments and on-site learning environment for more comprehensive data for the EDM process. These are the references, some of the references used. And thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. Have a nice day.